Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Shivatamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandha Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radhakanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishubhanu Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vrindai Tulasidevyai Priyayai Keshavasya Cha Vishnu Bhakti Pratidevi Satyavatre Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhe Vicha Paditanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharini Sesha Shamavadi Paschatya Deshitarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Shri Gaurabhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama. So we welcome you again to this little program of on education that we are speaking about today. What actually got me to this whole program of education? Is it okay? Can I start, Braj Prakash Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, you will be the one who will be translating, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so one of the reasons I got interested in this whole education thing, education aspect of it, because Srila Prabhupada, who has done so much for presenting, or rather educating us. When I read in the first canto of the Bhagavatam, the very first chapter of Bhagavatam, in the verse 22, I think, yes, verse 22 of that purport, Prabhupada is calling the whole education system of today as a slaughterhouse.
तो आप सभी का स्वागत है आज इस द्वितीय दिवस पर जहां पर हम लोग आधुनिक शिक्षा प्रणाली के बारे में चर्चा कर रहे हैं और ये पूरी शिक्षा प्रणाली के बारे में मेरी रुचि आई श्री प्रभुपाद जी के पुस्तक का अध्ययन करके जब प्रभुपाद जी के श्रीमद् भागवतम के पहले ही स्कंद के पहले ही अध्याय के 22वें श्लोक जहां पर प्रभुपाद जी कहते हैं कि ये पूरी जो आधुनिक शिक्षा प्रणाली है उसको एक कसाई खाने के समान बता रहे हैं.
So while I was reflecting on this word of this statement of Srila Prabhupada, I had this realization that how come he is calling this education system, which every one of us are so much, engrossed and, so much taken up with. We are so enamored by this whole education system. Why is Srila Prabhupada calling this a slaughterhouse?
तो मैं जब इस वाक्य को पढ़ा इस शब्द को तो मैं बहुत ही आश्चर्यचकित हुआ कि क्यों प्रभुपाद जी इसको आधुनिक शिक्षा प्रणाली को कसाई खाने से समान क्यों बता रहे हैं क्योंकि हम सब इसी शिक्षा प्रणाली में जो हमने लिया है सब लोग इतने इसमें व्यस्त हैं लगे हुए हैं क्यों प्रभुपाद जी इसको कसाई खाना बता रहे हैं.
So I started actually looking for the different aspects in which, analyzing the different aspects which Prabhupada has presented. Because for a saint, for saintly person like Srila Prabhupada, he will not use, when he's condemning something, he will not use very harsh words. For a saint, he will not use third class, fourth class words that normally people use. But he's using a very strong word here called slaughterhouse.
तो मुझे बड़ा आश्चर्य हुआ मैं उसको बहुत सूक्ष्मता से समझने का प्रयास किया कि प्रभुपाद जी जो कि एक साधु हैं और साधु जो होते हैं वो विशेष रूप से ऐसे शब्दों का उपयोग नहीं करते जो कि तृतीय या चौथी श्रेणी की जो होती है थर्ड क्लास जो भाषा होती है. तो अगर किसी की आलोचना करनी भी है तो वो इस प्रकार के बहुत कड़े शब्दों से नहीं करते लेकिन यहाँ पर प्रभुपाद जी बहुत ही कड़ा शब्द उपयोग कर रहे हैं कसाई खाना पर.
And for a saint to use this word slaughterhouse, I think it's the most condemnable thing that he can probably say.
और एक साधु के लिए इस प्रकार के शब्द का उपयोग करना ये मतलब उनके लिए सबसे बड़ा ये प्रकार का दुख होगा जो कि दुष्कर वाक्य जो यहाँ पर बताया जा रहा है वो उपयोग कर रहे हैं.
And despite the fact that we actually treat education as so sacred that the more we have it, the more we think we should, the more one has it, we think the better it is.
और दूसरे हम देखते हैं कि हम इसको इतना पवित्र मानते हैं शिक्षा को कि जितना हम इसको ग्रहण करते हैं और ग्रहण करना और अच्छा माना जाता है.
So as we looked into this whole education system, we were trying to find out why Srila Prabhupada is calling it a slaughterhouse. What is it slaughtering? What is it destroying that Prabhupada is calling it a slaughterhouse?
तो हम देख सकते हैं कि यहाँ पर जब भी बताया जा रहा है कि प्रभुपाद जी कह रहे हैं कि यहाँ पर कसाई खाना, तो क्या किस विषय वस्तु को ध्यान रखते हुए क्यों ऐसे प्रभुपाद जी कह रहे हैं उसको मैं समझना हूँ.
Because it is destroying something. Otherwise, why will he call it a slaughterhouse? It is destroying humanity, isn't it? Otherwise, why will he call it a slaughterhouse?
तो यहाँ पर कुछ नष्ट कर रहे हैं, किसी चीज का वध हो रहा है, किसी चीज को नष्ट कर रहे हैं, वो मानवता को ही नष्ट कर रहे हैं, इसीलिए प्रभुपाद जी इसको कसाई खाना बता रहे हैं.
And what is in humanity that is being killed by the present education system? So when looking into it, Srila Prabhupada says that humanity or human being, actually in the introduction of the Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada says that humanity starts when he starts questioning his suffering in this material world. So when questioning starts, inquiry starts, he is called the human being.
तो मानवता में भी क्या वो वस्तु है जो नष्ट हो रही है? श्री प्रभुपाद जी भगवद गीता की भूमिका में बताते हैं कि मानव समाज की शुरुआत होती है मानवता की जब वो जिज्ञासा करते हैं.
So animals do not question. Animals do not have the ability to question things.
क्योंकि पशु जिज्ञासा नहीं कर सकते, उनके पास क्षमता नहीं है कि वो जिज्ञासा कर सके.
And especially they cannot question about their existence, about their suffering, where they're coming from. They at the most can question only 4 things: eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. But humans can question their suffering, where they come from, what they're doing, or why they should suffer. All these different kinds of things they can question. Yes.
Yes. तो वो ये जिज्ञासा नहीं कर पाते कि उनको कष्ट क्यों मिल रहा है, क्यों उनका अस्तित्व का क्या जिज्ञासा, उसके बारे में कोई जिज्ञासा नहीं कर पाते. उनके जो प्रश्न होते हैं वो आहार, निद्रा, भय, उसके ऊपर वो कुछ जिज्ञासा कर सकते हैं. लेकिन मनुष्य जो है, मानव जीवन, वो कि वो कहाँ से आए हैं, कौन है वो, क्यों उनको ये तीनों ताप सता रहे, इस प्रकार की जिज्ञासा कर सकते हैं.
So this kind of questioning is a very nature of it is the beginning of human life.
और
so
इस प्रकार के जो प्रश्न, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So this present education system must be somewhere not allowing this to happen. Otherwise, why would Srila Prabhupada call this a slaughterhouse?
तो इस प्रकार की जिज्ञासा जो है मनुष्य में नहीं है, पशु में नहीं है, मनुष्य में होनी चाहिए. और जो कि इस प्रकार की जिज्ञासा का ही वध किया जा रहा है, पतन किया जा रहा है, इसीलिए इनको प्रभुपाद जी कसाई खाना बता रहे हैं आत्मिक शिक्षा.
So when we look into today's education system, as we discussed yesterday, that everyone, when we join a school, at least the schools that we joined, the first thing that we were told in school: keep quiet, do not talk. So if you are quiet, they think that you are good. It's a virtue in school. But the child only knows how to talk, and that is being prevented by the present education system. But what is also being prevented in this, by being prevented from talking or speaking, was the whole process of asking questions.
तो कल हम सबने भी श्रवण किया था, मुझे बताया किस प्रकार से जो आधुनिक शिक्षा प्रणाली है, विशेष रूप से जो विद्यालय आजकल है जहाँ पर मैं अध्ययन किया हूँ, वहां पे सबसे पहली चीज हमें सिखाते हैं कि आप शांत रहिए. तो वहां पर शांत रहना एक अच्छा गुण माना जाता है. लेकिन उस शांत रहने के उस प्रभाव में हम देखते हैं कि जो ये बहुत महत्वपूर्ण जिज्ञासा प्रश्न है, हम वो पूछना भी भूल जाते हैं. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I think Prabhuji has lost the connection, so we'll just wait for 1-2 minutes. He will rejoin.
Sorry, I think I missed you for some. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. You lost in between, Prabhu. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So, in the modern education system, the questioning is not given so much of importance, but rather the repeating is what is being given more stress.
तो आधुनिक शिक्षा प्रणाली में प्रश्न करने के ऊपर बहुत जोर नहीं दिया गया, लेकिन दोहराने के ऊपर जो वो बताएंगे वो दोहराना है हमको, इसके ऊपर बहुत जोर दिया गया. Rishi Kumar Prabhu, I think again Prabhuji lost the connection, right?
Yes, Prabhu, yes.
Yeah, okay, we'll wait.
Every human child.
Yeah, Prabhu came back.
Question.
I'm sorry, Prabhu, your voice is...
It's not very clear now?
Now it's okay,
Okay. So, we see that a child, when he's born, as soon as he starts learning how to speak, he will start asking a lot of questions to his parents and his family members. This is by nature, that's what is given to him by Krishna.
तो हम देखते हैं कि जो बाल काल में जो बच्चे होते हैं, छोटे बचपन से ही वो जैसे ही वो बोलना सीखते हैं, वो बहुत से प्रश्न पूछते हैं, बहुत जिज्ञासा करते हैं अपने माता पिता से.
And what we do normally to a child like that, we tell him, please keep quiet, or you're asking too many questions. And we try to prevent him from his very inquiring nature. But we forget that education starts with inquiry. And if a person does not have an inquiring mind, he will not gain knowledge.
और जब बच्चे ऐसे प्रश्न पूछते हैं तो लोग क्या करते हैं, विशेष रूप से माता पिता क्या करते हैं, अगर बहुत ज्यादा प्रश्न पूछते बोलते हैं कि आप शांत रहो, उनको चुप करा देते हैं. बट हम ये समझ नहीं पाते कि वो जो उनका स्वभाव है, मनुष्य का स्वभाव है जिज्ञासा करना, प्रश्न करना, हम उसको ही दबा देते हैं.
So when inquiry is prevented, then we are preventing knowledge. Because through inquiry only we actually gain knowledge. An inquisitive mind is one which actually is able to grasp knowledge or find new knowledge or find meaning to his own life.
तो प्रश्न पूछना जो है उससे ही ज्ञान मिलता है. जो प्रश्न पूछने की जो प्रवृत्ति है उससे ही ज्ञान ग्रहण करते हैं. और अगर हम प्रश्नों का उत्तर नहीं दे रहे हैं तो हमको उस ज्ञान से वंचित कर रहे हैं. तो इस प्रकार से जो जिज्ञासा करने वाले हैं वो अपने आप को ज्ञान से परिपूर्ण करते हैं.
In the Bhagavad Gita, we see Arjuna is asking questions, right? And who's answering it? It is Krishna, Sri Krishna, who's the knower of all everything, is giving answers. Similarly, we see in the Srimad Bhagavatam, we have Shaunaka Rishi and the others, the rishis of Naimisharanya, asking questions to Suta Goswami, and he is answering. Then we have Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadev Goswami, and then we have Vidura and Maitreya. Like that, throughout the whole Srimad Bhagavatam, there is question and answers. And that is what has given us knowledge.
तो हम देखते हैं कि भगवद गीता में क्या है. भगवद गीता में अर्जुन प्रश्न कर रहे हैं और भगवान श्री कृष्ण उत्तर दे रहे हैं. उसी प्रकार भागवतम में शौनक आदि ऋषि जिज्ञासा कर रहे हैं सुत गोस्वामी से. परीक्षित महाराज शुद्धदेव गोस्वामी से, और मैत्रेय और विदुर के बीच में भी प्रश्न और उत्तर ही चल रहा है, जिससे वो ज्ञान ग्रहण कर रहे हैं.
So it is through questioning that and answering that the whole process of knowledge is going on. So the questions are asked by the students and the answer is given by the teacher.
तो प्रश्न उत्तर के द्वारा ही पूरे ज्ञान की पूरे ज्ञान प्राप्त किया जा रहा है. जो विद्यार्थी होते हैं प्रश्न पूछते हैं और उनके जो अध्यापक हैं वो उत्तर दे रहे हैं.
But in today's education system, who asks the questions?
लेकिन हम देखते हैं कि आधुनिक शिक्षा प्रणाली में कौन प्रश्न पूछते हैं
and who answers the questions?
और कौन उन प्रश्नों का उत्तर देते हैं.
It's just the opposite of the Vedic system. In the Vedic system, we have Arjuna who is asking the questions, and the person who knows Krishna or the teacher or the guru answers the questions. Whereas in today's system, we have the teachers who are asking questions, and who answers the questions? It is students. It's just the opposite. Therefore, there cannot be any learning in this system. In an educational system, we understand a student's capacity, his intelligence, by the questions he asks. And we understand the teacher's capacity and his intelligence or his learning by the answers he gives. But today's system is just the opposite. We have teachers who are asking questions and they're trying to answer make very intelligent questions, very difficult questions, and the students are somehow trying to answer them. So this is opposite of the whole Vedic system of knowledge.
तो आज की जो आधुनिक शिक्षा प्रणाली है वो वैदिक सभ्यता के बिल्कुल, वैदिक सभ्यता में जो शिक्षा विधि थी उसके बिल्कुल विरुद्ध में है. उसके विरोध में हम देखते हैं कि आज कौन प्रश्न पूछते हैं, वो अध्यापक जो होते हैं वो प्रश्न पूछते हैं, बहुत ही कठिनता से जटिलता से कोई प्रश्न पूछते हैं, और जो विद्यार्थी हैं उनको बोलते हैं उत्तर देने के लिए. हम देखते हैं भगवद गीता में कौन प्रश्न पूछ रहे हैं, अर्जुन प्रश्न पूछ रहे हैं, और भगवान श्री कृष्ण जो सब कुछ जानते हैं वो उसका उत्तर दे रहे हैं. लेकिन यहाँ पर बिल्कुल हम देखते हैं उसके बिल्कुल विरोध में आज की शिक्षा प्रणाली है, जहां पर प्रश्न अध्यापक पूछ रहे हैं और विद्यार्थी उसका उत्तर देते हैं.
And we can understand a student's intelligence by the questions he asks, not by the answers he gives. Because if he knew the answers, then what is the question of him? What is the point of him being a student? And we can judge a teacher by the answers he gives.
और विद्यार्थी की
go ahead.
Sorry. तो विद्यार्थी कितने दक्ष है मालूम पड़ता है कि कैसे वो कितना अच्छा प्रश्न पूछ रहा है. ये नहीं कि उत्तर दे रहे हैं, प्रश्न पूछ रहे हैं जो उनको जिज्ञासा करनी है. और अध्यापक कितने दक्ष है मालूम पड़ता है अध्यापक कितना अच्छे से वो उत्तर दे रहे हैं उस प्रश्न का.
So we have a system where it is completely opposite, and we are simply trying to judge a student by the answers he gives. And that too, these answers are not basically, he's just supposed to repeat certain things, and from which this repeating is if he can repeat it as well as, if he can repeat it very well, then he's considered very intelligent. But we are not trying to see whether he is really interested in the subject. Is it relevant for him? We are just trying to give him a lot of information, and he is supposed to just memorize it and put it back. So this is actually killing the very human spirit of inquiry.
तो आधुनिक शिक्षा प्रणाली में क्या करते हैं कि वो उनको इतनी जानकारी देते हैं और उस जानकारी को उनको ग्रहण करके वापस उनको बताना होता है. और इस कार्यकलाप में क्या होता है कि उनकी जो जिज्ञासा करने की जो प्रवृत्ति है वो बिल्कुल नष्ट हो जाती है, बिल्कुल उसका वध हो जाता है.
He is not seen. I mean, his questions have no meaning in this whole education system. So therefore, this education system is not relevant for him, because until and unless you don't know what this person has in mind, what he is questioning, if that is not known, then how do you know what is relevant for him, what he is really interested in to know? So simply making him learn a lot of things without really knowing what is his interest is not an education system. It is killing the basic human spirit of inquiry.
और इसमें उनको पता नहीं होता कि वो क्या ज्ञान ग्रहण कर रहे हैं। वो देख पाते हैं कि इसका कोई भी उनके जीवन में उसका बहुत महत्व नहीं है, क्योंकि वो सब कुछ जो उनकी स्वयं की जिज्ञासा है वो उसको करने का उनको अवसर नहीं मिलता है, और जो उनको सब कुछ जानकारी मिलती है बस वही आकर के दोहराना है। तो उस पर उनका जो आधारभूत जिज्ञासा की जो प्रवृत्ति है उसको नष्ट किया जा रहा है।
I think it's just yesterday the government of India has approved of a new education policy, which has got 5+3+3+4 or something like that. But again, the problem is that it is education. We are seeing education. We see a person, we judge a person's education by the certificates he acquires. So he does not, he feels educated only if he is certified by someone to be educated. But knowledge is not anything like that. Knowledge is when you acquire knowledge, when you're satisfied with the knowledge, when you gain knowledge. Yam labha chaparam labha manyatena adhikam tataha. In the Bhagavad Gita it says, when you get full with knowledge, then you can understand, I don't need to know more, because you have a sense of inquiry. But when you do not have a sense of inquiry and you're simply vomiting what you've been told to memorize, how can that be called education?
तो भारतवर्ष में कल एक नई शिक्षा पद्धति थी, उसको परिवर्तित किया गया है। उसमें 5+3+3+4 करके कुछ ऐसे नई चीज आई है। प्रधानमंत्री ने उसको स्वीकृति प्रदान की है। लेकिन हम देखते हैं कि प्रणाली है, इसमें क्या करते हैं हम लोग, जो चीजें बताई जाती है उसको दोहरा करके एक सर्टिफिकेट हमें मिलता है। लेकिन उस सर्टिफिकेट से आप सोचिए, जो हमारी जो संतुष्टि, जो आत्म जिज्ञासा की जो संतुष्टि है, जो हम जिज्ञासा करते हैं, उस पर प्राप्त नहीं। भगवद गीता में बताया गया है कि ये जो ज्ञान प्राप्त करने के पश्चात अब उनको और कुछ, उनको ज्ञान प्राप्त होता है तो और उनको कुछ भी नहीं चाहिए होता है, उससे संतुष्ट होते हैं। तो ये जिज्ञासा की प्रवृत्ति इसमें नहीं है।
So therefore, this whole system is actually destroying the process of inquiry. And in real life, what is it that you need to progress in life? You need a sense of enterprisingness, a sense of inquiry, innovativeness, creativity is what you need in life to actually go ahead in life, to make progress in life. But where is the scope for all of these things in the present education system? There is no scope for inquiry. There's no scope for innovation. There's no scope for enterprisingness. There's no scope for creativity, because all you have to do is just repeat. So where is creativity, enterprisingness, innovation in this whole system of education?
तो ये जो शिक्षा प्रणाली है पूरी, देखिए यहाँ पर कोई अवसर ही नहीं है कि जहाँ पर हम जिज्ञासा कर सकें, हम कुछ अपने आप कुछ रचना कर सकें, कुछ ऐसी नई चीज बनाने की प्रवृत्ति है उसको उजागर कर सकें। यही हमें जीवन में चाहिए होता है, लेकिन इसके लिए कोई अवसर ही नहीं है आज की शिक्षा प्रणाली में।
So therefore, this is not an education system. Actually, this system is designed to create industrial workers who will simply follow orders in an industrial setup.
तो ये जो है शिक्षा प्रणाली, ये शिक्षा प्रणाली नहीं है। और शिक्षा प्रणाली ये देखिए क्या है, ये सिर्फ औद्योगिक जो संस्थान है, जो औद्योगिक जो फैक्ट्रीज, कंपनी है, उसमें काम करने के लिए जो वर्कर्स हैं, काम करने वाले श्रमिक उत्पन्न कर रहे हैं।
And because they need these workers who will work, they will have no other skills, but they will only listen to orders and execute what they can, what is being told to them properly. So for that purpose, they need people. And therefore, they make sure, because every person has a natural tendency for inquiry, so therefore, they put him to a rigorous system of years, of 15 to 20 years of rigorous system of learning and repeating, so that when he actually is ready for that, he's thoroughly brainwashed and is ready to work. He's not going to use his brains. He's not going to think of anything else. He's not going to innovate anything new. He's not going to be an enterprising man. He's simply going to follow the orders and repeat the orders.
तो इस प्रकार से आयोजन करते हैं कि चूंकि उनको इस प्रकार के लोग चाहिए औद्योगिक संस्थाओं में काम करने के लिए, जो कि सिर्फ काम श्रम कर सके, आज्ञा का पालन कर सके और कुछ अपने आप से कुछ उत्पन्न नहीं कर सके। तो इसलिए पूरा ये प्रणाली देखिए, आप 20 वर्ष तक अध्ययन करने के पश्चात, जहां पर आपको बार बार चीजों को दोहराना सिखाया जाता है, आज्ञा का पालन करना सिखाया जाता है, उस पर पूरे हमारे ब्रेन वॉश करके उस प्रकार से तैयार करते हैं कि अब हम तैयार हैं, जहाँ पर जाकर सिर्फ हम श्रम कर सकते हैं और जो आदेश मिलेगा उसका पालन कर सकते हैं.
We will not question them. We will not question the authorities. We will not question the people who are there.
और कोई प्रश्न नहीं करेंगे, जिज्ञासा नहीं करेंगे.
तत् विधि प्रणिपातेन परिप्रश्नेन सेवया उपदेक्षन्ति ते ज्ञानं ज्ञानिनस्तत्त्वदर्शिनः. You have to learn, you have to ask questions. If you have an authority, you should answer your questions. So here there is no question of asking questions to an authority. They don't want. They simply want us to follow because they don't want the system of questioning. So that has to be killed. And this education system is to kill that ability to question.
तो भगवद गीता में हम पढ़ते हैं, हम अध्ययन करते हैं कि प्रणिपातेन सेवया, वहां पर जाके प्रश्न करते हैं, तद्विधि प्रणिपातेन, जिज्ञासा करते हैं, और जो हमारे समक्ष जो हमसे वरिष्ठ हैं वो हमको उसका उत्तर देते हैं, हमारी जिज्ञासा को पूर्ण करते हैं. लेकिन इस प्रकार की जो भावना है उसके लिए कोई स्थान नहीं है आज की प्रणाली में, शिक्षा प्रणाली में.
So therefore, why? Because they don't want you to learn everything. They don't want you to take over the business, because if you're intelligent, you'll take over the business, you learn everything. So you simply should not do all that. So you have to learn only to follow orders, the particular, or do a little part of the whole job, and be satisfied with that, and take back home a salary, and keep working and be completely dependent on your employer. You should not have the ability to actually be enterprising, to be thinking, to be innovative, to have inquiry, to learn the whole system. No, you should simply become dependent on the employer, and they can do whatever they want to do with you.
तो ऐसा क्यों करते हैं कि वो नहीं चाहते हैं कि आप ऐसे जिज्ञासा करें, आपके प्रश्नों का उत्तर दें, तो आप फिर उनके जो व्यवसाय हैं उनको आप ले लें, फिर आप करना शुरू कर दें. इसीलिए वो उस प्रकार से अभ्यासित करते हैं कि हम खाली आदेश का पालन करें और हम इस प्रकार की जो जिज्ञासा करके अपने स्वयं के कार्य नहीं कर पाए.
And to do that, they make sure that we have no individuality or no other identity. From early childhood, you're made to dress up in a uniform. You're told to come and do the same thing, repeat the same boring thing every day. Train to do that. Sit on the same chair every day. Sit and do the work that you're being told to do every day. You're not supposed to do anything else that you're not told to do, because that is not schooling. Schooling is only to do what you're being told to do.
और बचपन से देखते हैं कि बच्चे लोग जो है वो एक प्रकार के वस्त्र पहन के जाते हैं, यूनिफॉर्म पहन के जाते हैं, एक ही तरह के कपड़े पहन के एक ही स्थान पर बैठना. तो उसी प्रकार से उनको करना है, उसी प्रकार के ड्रेस में जाना है, वहां पर बैठना है, और जो बताया जा रहा है बस वही करना है, और उसके अलावा और कुछ भी नहीं करना है. इस प्रकार से हमें अभ्यास किया जाता है बचपन काल से.
And why we are trained to do that? So that you can eventually join the industry and do the same thing.
और क्यों ऐसा हो रहा है? जिससे कि बाद में हम जाके किसी इंडस्ट्री में हम जाके काम करें, और इस प्रोजेक्ट पहले बताया कि हमको बस अंत में तनख्वाह मिलेगी और पूरे जीवन हम थोड़ा काम करते रहेंगे.
So because of this whole, it is an industrial education. It is meant to create working force for an industrial society where we will produce industrial products and we will consume industrial products, and we will not do anything of our own. And they will simply have a society completely dependent on these industrialists and people who run these industries.
तो ये पूरा आयोजन इस प्रकार से है कि ये औद्योगिक शिक्षा है. ये इस प्रकार से औद्योगिक जो है उनका कार्यकलाप चलता रहे, और सभी लोग उसके उद्योग से आने वाले जो उत्पादक है उसको अपने जीवन में प्रयोग करें, और पूरा जो संसार है उसके ऊपर चलता रहेगा समाज. अपने आप से कुछ करने की जिज्ञासा नहीं आएगी.
And this is a new caste system that we have, a system which is powered by the degrees that you get, the salaries that you get, not on the person's ability to question, not the ability of the person's abilities to actually be a good human being and increases his knowledge, but on the degrees that you get. It doesn't matter whether you are intelligent or not. Only you're considered great only if you have a degree and that too from a branded institution. And these institutions are also being branded, rated.
तो एक नई जाति प्रथा शुरू हो गई है। देखिए किस प्रकार की जाति विभाजन हो गया, विभाजन समाज में, कि आप क्या आपने सर्टिफिकेट लिया है, कितनी आपकी तनख्वाह मिलती है, किस कॉलेज से आपने पढ़ाई की है, इस प्रकार की। तो ये हमारी एक नई विभाग बन गया समाज में। इससे मतलब नहीं है कि हम कितनी जिज्ञासा करने की प्रवृत्ति है, कितने सभ्य पुरुष हैं। यस प्रभु।
So, in Chanakya, it is said, Lalanat bahuvo doshas, tadane bahuvo gunaha, tatha putram sashishyamscha tadayat natulalayat. Lalanat bahuvo doshas. If you pamper a child, then he'll develop a lot of bad qualities. And if you discipline a child, he'll get a lot of good qualities. So therefore, one should, tatha putram sa shishyamscha, one should, a sishya, a student, or a son has to be tadayat, natulalayat. He has to be disciplined, not pampered. So this present system of education, we have none of those things of where he's being disciplined. He is not being disciplined. He is being told to take chocolates and live a life, see whatever he wants. But he's not been trained to be disciplined. And without discipline, he cannot become anyone in this world. So therefore, he has been trained only to become a useless guy who will only become useful to be working in an industrial setup, not to be able to do anything of his own in his life.
तो चाणक्य नीति में बताया गया श्लोक के द्वारा कि किस प्रकार से बच्चों को और शिष्य को अगर बहुत उनको लालन पालन करने में बहुत उनको अगर ज्यादा प्रेम देते हैं, बहुत उनको दुलार करते हैं, तो बच्चे बिगड़ सकते हैं। लेकिन जब उनको अनुशासित करते हैं तो वो उनके हित के लिए होता है, शिष्य को और बच्चों को। तो लेकिन आजकल की शिक्षा प्रणाली में ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है। इस प्रकार के अनुशासन की बात नहीं की जाती है। आप चाहे कुछ भी करिए, कुछ भी खाइए, कुछ भी पीजिए, चॉकलेट खाइए। और जब ऐसे नहीं कर पाएंगे, जब अनुशासन में नहीं रह पाएंगे, तो वो ऐसे जो बच्चे होते हैं, संतान होती है, ऐसे शिष्य या विद्यार्थी जो होते हैं, वो सभी फिर वो कुछ और नहीं कर सकते। इसलिए वो सिर्फ श्रम बन सकते हैं। अपने आप कुछ करने की प्रवृत्ति उनके पास नहीं होती।
We are actually making weak individuals.
तो व्यक्तिगत रूप से
which go ahead.
Sorry, Prabhu. Sorry, I lost your voice in between.
Okay, to make strong individuals, they need to be strongly disciplined. They need to be trained to be disciplined, to control their senses, to be able to be steady in both happiness and distress, to be steady in both hot climate or in cold climate. It doesn't matter. He has to be steady. He has to have those abilities to be doing that. But none of these are a part of the modern education system. Today's education system
तो अभी तो जो प्रभु जी ने बताया, मैं उसका बात कर रहा हूँ। प्रभु जी फिर अभी आएंगे। तो उन्हें बताया कि इस प्रकार से जो आदर्श एक शक्तिशाली व्यक्तित्व को होने के लिए उनको बहुत अनुशासित होना होता है और उनको बहुत स्थिर होना होता है, स्थायी होना होता है। चाहे बहुत ठंड हो, गर्म हो, बहुत जीवन में सुख की स्थिति है, दुख की स्थिति है, जितने भी द्वंद्व आते हैं उसमें उनको स्थायी उदासीन रहने की जो भावना है, स्थायी रहने की भावना, वो अनुशासन से आती है। तो उससे एक शक्तिशाली व्यक्तित्व उत्पन्न होता है। वो आज की शिक्षा प्रणाली में नहीं सिखाया जाता है। So we'll wait for Prabhuji to come back. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, am I audible now?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, I've just shifted my position because I think yesterday's place was better. We had better audition here. So I've
Yes,
come to the,
this better.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So here, again, I think, I don't know whether you heard what I said about creating strong individuals.
Yes,
I'll repeat
I
that.
translated that. Yeah.
You did, okay.
Yes.
So coming back to this point is that education is to transfer a culture to our next generation, is to see that we transmit our culture to the new generation. And how are we going to transfer this new generation knowledge to this new generation of traditional knowledge? Because we are increasingly alienating the younger generation from any ability to actually grasp that knowledge. In these circumstances, they will not have the ability to transmit a new knowledge, the knowledge, because they've not been trained. They have to be trained and disciplined in the ways, because life is always loke vivayam amishamatya seva. In the 11th canto, Bhagavatam says that people by nature are very inclined to enjoying sex life, eating meat, and enjoying drinks, alcohol. I mean, to get intoxicated. So what we do not see that this education system is actually training people to become strong persons who will be well disciplined, who will have innovative ideas, who have enterprising capacities, who would be a very inquiring mind. So this system is not training people to become actually strong individuals and strong leaders. So therefore, this education system is actually meant for creating weak individuals who will simply follow some orders and have no capacity to be actually great leaders.
तो शिक्षा का उद्देश्य है कि जो ज्ञान है, जो संस्कृति है, उसको एक पीढ़ी से दूसरी पीढ़ी के पास ऐसे उनको स्थानांतरित करना। लेकिन आजकल की शिक्षा प्रणाली है, उसका ये प्रभाव है कि ये अनुशासित नहीं है जो पीढ़ी है, और इसकी वजह से वो उस ज्ञान को लेने में सक्षम नहीं है, उस ज्ञान को ग्रहण करने में और ज्ञान को देने के लिए भी सक्षम नहीं है उसके लिए वो। और इसीलिए क्योंकि उनका व्यक्तित्व जो है, श्रीमद् भागवत में बताया गया है कि लोग इंद्रिय भोग में, विशेष रूप से मैथुन और नशे में और अपने इंद्रियों के भोग में लगे रहते हैं, इसकी वजह से उनका जो व्यक्तित्व है वो बहुत कमजोर हो जाता है। तो बहुत पूरी शिक्षा प्रणाली इस प्रकार से आयोजित की गई है कि उनका व्यक्तित्व बहुत कमजोर हो जाता है। इसके लिए वो अपने आप से कुछ स्वचलित अभियान चलाने की जो उनके अंदर जिज्ञासा होती है वो समाप्त हो जाती है, और वो सिर्फ किसी के लिए कोई श्रम कर सकते हैं, काम कर सकते हैं।
Srila Prabhupada speaks, actually presents that early childhood, early life, one is to be trained to perform tapasya, or to be austere, so that when he actually enters grihastha life, he can be austere. But here we do not see such things of such kind of training for these younger generation. They have none of those qualities. And mind you, if one does not learn how to work hard between the age of 14 and 20, he will never be able to work hard for the rest of his life. So if one is not trained to do hard work and to go ahead in life, then one will remain a weakling throughout his whole life, unable to take any stress, strain, unable to go ahead in life, look for new answers to life, solve his own problems. He doesn't have that ability because he's never been trained to do it.
श्री गोपाल जी कहते हैं कि बाल्यकाल में जो शिक्षा दी जाती है उसमें कैसे इंद्रियों को नियंत्रित करना है, आत्मसंयमित बनना है, सिखाया जाता है, और अगर शिक्षा मिलती है तभी वो एक अच्छे गृहस्थ आश्रम में प्रवेश करते हैं ब्रह्मचारी। लेकिन हम देखते हैं कि आज के शिक्षा प्रणाली में इसका बिल्कुल कमी है, ये बिल्कुल ज्ञान नहीं दिया जाता है, और इसकी वजह से वो बहुत ही अनुशासित नहीं है, तो बहुत ही कमजोर व्यक्तित्व वो प्राप्त करते हैं। हम देखते हैं कि 14 से 20 वर्ष की आयु में जो व्यक्ति कठिन परिश्रम करना नहीं सीखते हैं तो पूरे जीवन में वो परिश्रम नहीं कर पाते हैं। तो इस प्रकार की शिक्षाओं की कमी दिखती है, और इसकी वजह से एक बहुत ही कमजोर व्यक्तित्व वो उत्पन्न हो रहे हैं नवयुग पीढ़ी में, और वो सिर्फ श्रम कर सकते हैं किसी के लिए।
And worse than that, they're being encouraged to actually become, sense enjoyers. It is most schools and colleges. It is in fact schools and colleges we went through. It is a prestigious thing to have a girlfriend or have a boyfriend and spend time doing all those kind of things at a time when you actually should be self-controlled and learning how to deal with your life. You're taught to be a sense gratifier, not and wearing different kinds of clothes, spending a lot of money on clothing and all kinds of things to make yourself beautiful. All these things are actually destroying his ability to be a strong personality. He has become a sense gratifier, and because of which it is to be known that he can be very easily controlled simply by giving him objects of sense gratification, just like we can make an addict. An addict can be controlled by his addictions. So similarly, a sense gratifier who's also addicted to his addictions can be controlled by his objects of sense gratification.
तो आजकल की जो विद्यालय हैं, कम से कम जहाँ पर मैं गया हूँ कुछ विद्यालयों में, वहाँ पर हम देखते हैं कि सारे जो व्यवस्था वहाँ पर इस प्रकार से कि वो इंद्रिय भोग के लिए बनी हुई है। सभी विद्यालय में जितने भी वहाँ पर पुरुष हैं उनके पास में उनकी गर्लफ्रेंड उनके साथ में होनी चाहिए। गर्लफ्रेंड ये देखा जा रहा है नेट प्रचलन में, और सभी चीजें वहाँ पर अपने आप को बहुत अच्छे से कपड़े पहन के आना दिखाना, ये सभी जो है इंद्रिय भोग के साधन वहाँ पर उत्पन्न किए जा रहे हैं। और इस प्रकार से वो इतने इंद्रिय भोगी हो जाते हैं क्योंकि ये समय है जहाँ पर उनको अनुशासित होना है, अपने जीवन में आगे बढ़ने के लिए बहुत परिश्रम करना है, लेकिन वहां पर वो इंद्रिय भोग में इतने कमजोर हो जाते हैं कि फॉर वो उनको कोई भी अगर इंद्रिय भोग की वस्तु दे करके उनको अपने नियंत्रण में कोई भी कर सकते हैं। जैसे एक नशेड़ी को कोई भी नशा दिखा करके उनको आदत पड़ जाती है, उसी प्रकार से इंद्रिय भोगी जो व्यक्ति होते हैं, कोई भी इंद्रिय भोग का विषय होता है उससे उनको नियंत्रित किया जा सकता है।
The biggest problem that we have in schools and colleges today is the biggest trouble that the teachers have in schools and colleges is to discipline their children. Indiscipline is the biggest problem in schools and colleges. Most of the time of the teachers go in trying to discipline the children rather than to teach.
तो अनुशासनहीनता जो है ये सबसे बड़ी समस्या है आज की शिक्षा प्रणाली की। ज्यादातर समय जो शिक्षकों का जाता है वो अनुशासन लाने के लिए बजाय कि उनको शिक्षा दें।
And we have seen that any school or any education system where they are disciplined, they are good performers even in this present system. But in an indisciplined system, the performers are never good. The people never perform well. Even in this bad system, they are bad performers. So how can we actually bring discipline into our children through this education system, which is not at all geared to understand the basics of spiritual life, basics of human life, that of inquiry and discipline, which actually with which you make progress.
तो इसमें देखते हैं कि आजकल के समय में जो वर्तमान विद्यालय हैं या तो कुछ विद्यालय जहां पर अनुशासन है तो हम देखते हैं कि उनका जो विद्यार्थियों की क्योंकि वो अनुशासन में है, लेकिन वैसे ही पूरा शिक्षा प्रणाली ही कमजोर है और उसमें भी अगर अनुशासनहीनता हो जाए तब तो वो बिल्कुल उनकी जो उन्नति होती है, क्षमता होती है, वो बहुत कम हो जाती है। और कैसे इस आज के वातावरण में कैसे हम फिर अपने बच्चों को और जो विद्यार्थी हैं उनको कैसे ये एक अच्छा अनुशासन सिखाएं, ये एक बड़ा समस्या है।
So anyway, you all can think more about this point. I will move to another point today, that the present education system is not sequential. Sequential means it is not in sequence. Everything has a sequence. First this thing comes, then this thing comes, then this thing comes. It is called sequential. What should come first? What will come first, second, third, like that. But the present day education system is non-sequential because it doesn't take into account the ability of the person, or what is the ability and what is his psychophysical nature as he grows up in age.
तो अभी मैं उस बिंदु को विराम देता हूं और दूसरे बिंदु पर हम जाते हैं, उसमें और भी सोच सकते हैं हम सभी अलग-अलग से। दूसरा ये है कि आज की जो शिक्षा प्रणाली है वो क्रमशः नहीं है, क्रम से एक क्रम से दूसरे क्रम पर नहीं जाती है। जैसे क्रम में चीजें आनी चाहिए तो उस क्रम से इसका आयोजन नहीं किया गया है।
Education in our Vedic system is divided into, childhood is divided into different things, as you must have seen in Krishna Leela. We have his Balya Leela, then we have his Poganda, then Kishora, then Yovana. All these things are divided. Why these different names are given to age? I mean, to a child's age. Why they are given? Because he behaves. He has a different nature at this different times of his life.
तो वैदिक सभ्यता में हम देखते हैं कि इनको विभाजित किया गया है उम्र के अनुसार। जैसे हम देखते हैं भगवान श्री कृष्ण की लीला में कि वहां पर भगवान की बाल लीला है, पौगंड लीला है, कैशोर लीला है, फिर उसका यौवन लीला है। तो क्योंकि उनके अलग अलग उम्र में अलग अलग स्वभाव से वो कार्य करते हैं, तो इस प्रकार से उनको विभाजन किया गया है।
So up to the age of 5, a child should be pampered. That is what Vedic culture says. Means he should be given whatever he wants, or means he should not be disciplined at that time. He just should pamper him. Lalanat Panchavarshani. For 5 years, he should actually do lalan palan to him. Lalanat Panchavarshani. Tadayet Dashavarshani. So next 10 years, after the first 5 years, then he has to be disciplined in the next 10 years.
तो यहाँ पर बताया गया कि वैदिक सभ्यता के अनुसार शुरुआत के 5 वर्ष जो है उसमें उनका लालन पालन जैसे करना चाहिए, दुलार जो भी उनको चाहिए देनी चाहिए। तो 5 वर्ष तक उनको अनुशासन नहीं होता है बच्चों के ऊपर। उसके बाद जो 10 वर्ष है, आगे के 10 वर्ष।
So just like a bamboo, you shape the bamboo when it is young. You can inculcate good disciplines into a person between the age of 5 and 10. The disciplines that you think a person should have as he grows up, those years are the years in which these disciplines, he has to be disciplined to discipline for all those things. Like, for example, when to eat, how to wake up, when to sleep, all those things, never to overeat, all those things have to be disciplined. The discipline has to come to him between the age of, he should be taught all that discipline between the age of 5 and 15.
और जैसे एक बांस होता है, तो बांस को जब वो हरा होता है तभी हम उसको आकार दे सकते हैं। एक बार वो सूख गया तो बहुत कठिन हो जाता है। उसी प्रकार ये उम्र है 5 से 15 वर्ष के बीच में, इसमें जो भी अनुशासन हम चाहते हैं सिखाने के लिए बच्चों को, कैसे कब उठना है, कब खाना है, ज्यादा नहीं खाना है, ये सभी चीजें जो उनको आगे जीवन में काम आने वाली है, वो सभी अनुशासन हमें इसी वर्ष में 5 से 15 आयु में हमें देनी होगी।
And what happens at the age of 15 actually, or 14, 15, 13, 14, 15, is that now at this age, between the age of 5 and 15, he is to be trained, he is to be given the disciplines. And what happens at the age of 13, 14, or 15? That is a very important thing to understand, which is completely missing in the modern day education system.
तो 13, 14, 15 वर्ष में फिर क्या होता है? हम 5 से 15 वर्ष तक अनुशासन देते हैं, लेकिन 13, 14, 15 वर्षों में क्या होता है, ये बहुत महत्वपूर्ण समझना, और आधुनिक शिक्षा प्रणाली उनको इसके बारे में ज्यादा ज्ञान नहीं।
Till the age of, say, 13 or 14, till the age when a boy's voice does not crack, his voice cracks, his voice breaks. Prior to that, his voice is like that of a young. There's no difference between the voice of a boy or a girl, but at a particular age, the boy's voice will crack, and when the voice cracks, he has become matured. He has become an adult. And that is a very important distinction in education, to understand that stage in life.
तो जब एक 13, 14, 15 वर्ष में एक समय आता है जब जो बालक होते हैं उनकी आवाज जो है वो बदल जाती है। उसके पहले तक जो है वो देखते हैं हम कि जो बालक बालिका है दोनों की आवाज एक जैसी ही होते हैं, लेकिन जब बालक की आवाज में जब वो एक समय आता है जब वो बदल जाती है, आवाज थोड़ी गंभीर हो जाती है, तो वो समय है कि जब वो परिपक्व हो गए हैं। और वो जो समय है उस समय क्या शिक्षा देनी है, क्या ज्ञान देना है, ये शिक्षा प्रणाली में नहीं है।
Chanakya says, which Prabhupada also repeats, he says, Sodasha Varshe Praptayata Putra Mitram Eva Acharet. As soon as he reaches his 16th year, the father should treat the son as a friend. Means you cannot instruct him, you cannot discipline him after that age. That age, the age for disciplining is gone. Now you have to, now the age of rationality and reasoning will come. You cannot discipline. So we actually miss that age of 5 to 15 and try to discipline a guy when he's completely gone off the age of discipline. We try to discipline the person, and when we try to discipline the person, what happens in the family is fights. The child rebels at that age because he's not going to take discipline at that age. You're trying it at the wrong time. This is very nicely established in the scriptures, and the present education system doesn't do it. So at this age, we call him all kinds of funny names. We call him a teenager. We call him an adolescent. We call him a rebel. It's not like that. This is already, simple common sense, which was presented in our scriptures very beautifully, that he has to be trained before he attains puberty. And after that, you have to treat him like an adult. Stop treating him like a kid.
और उसके बाद चारण पंडित कहते हैं और प्रभुपाद जी भी कहते हैं कि 16 वर्ष जब पहुंच जाते हैं तब उनको अपने मित्र के जैसा व्यवहार करना चाहिए, क्योंकि अब वो कोई अनुशासन ग्रहण नहीं करेंगे। अब वो अपने मित्र के समान और कैसे उनको जो चीजें रेशनलाइज करनी है वो आपसे मुझसे बातें कर सकते हैं, आप रीजनिंग कर सकते हैं, लेकिन आप उनको अनुशासन नहीं कर सकते। आप तो होता क्या है कि जो 5 से 15 वर्ष की आयु है उसमें जब अनुशासन नहीं कर पाते, वहां पर जब च्युत हो जाते हैं और बाद में जब अनुशासन करना चाहते हैं 15 वर्ष के पश्चात, तो संभव नहीं है। और फिर उसका परिणाम क्या होता है? फिर परिवार में कलह होता है उसकी वजह से, क्योंकि हमने वो समय गंवा दिया, जो अनुशासन करना था वो समय हमने गंवा दिया। अब बाद में करने से परिवार में कलह होता है।
And he has to be treated as an adult now. You cannot treat him as a kid. After he attains his, yeah, go ahead.
Yes. तो अब वो बालक नहीं रह गया, अब उनको एक आप परिपक्व युवक की तरह उनके साथ व्यवहार करना होगा।
And even in the system of 5 to 15 years, Prabhupada tells us that Gurukul education is from the age of 5 to 10 only, a maximum 12. Means academic education, only academic education is only between the age of 5 and 10. And there's a reason for that. The reason is this, that as he turns to be 10 and after 10, the child's motor skills start developing. His muscles and bodily, the tendons and the cartilages in his body develop. And therefore his body is ready for physical action. He wants to do something. And his hormones are also growing in that manner that he wants physical action. He wants to do something practical. Now, this education system does not realize this. And it tries to make him sit on a chair and a table and forces him to simply sit down and scribble on pieces of paper. Whereas he, at this age, actually needs to learn practical skills as well as his academic skills. So this combination is not understood by the whole education system. It's so simple, but it is not understood. So therefore, we are not training people to become actually very expert, very skilled people. We are not producing because the education system does not know what to do.
तो प्रभुपाद जी कहते हैं कि 5 से 15 में भी 5 से 10 या 12 वर्ष की आयु तक जो है उनको शिक्षा ग्रहण करनी चाहिए गुरुकुल में। और ये अवस्था है जब उनके शरीर में अंग में परिवर्तन होता है, शरीर के भाग परिवर्तित होते हैं और अब उनको कुछ व्यवहारिक कार्य करने की जो गुण है वो सिखाने चाहिए, उस शिक्षा की प्रवृत्ति उनके अंदर आ जाती है। लेकिन आधुनिक शिक्षा प्रणाली में जो इसका ज्ञान नहीं है और वो उनको अभी भी कुर्सी मेज पर बिठाकर पढ़ाना चाहते हैं, तो चूंकि उनको इस बारे में ज्ञान नहीं है तो इस प्रकार से वो देते हैं शिक्षा। लेकिन प्रभुपाद जी कह रहे हैं यहाँ पर कि अब वो तैयार है कुछ न कुछ व्यवहारिक रूप से कुछ कार्य करने के लिए जो शिक्षा ग्रहण की है। तो ये जो 12 वर्ष की आयु की बात की आयु है उसमें कुछ उनको कार्य करने के लिए इंगित करना है। लेकिन हमारी आदर्श शिक्षा प्रणाली इस बारे में पूरी तरह से च्युत हो जाती है, उस बारे में कोई जानकारी नहीं है, जो कि बहुत सरल है।
And they also do not know how to judge a person's personality or his psychophysical nature. So they all try to put him through the same one system of education, whereas every person is different and he has to be trained differently. Whereas we are trying to put everyone through the same system of education.
तो आदर्श शिक्षा प्रणाली में ये भी पता नहीं हमको कि जो लोगों के व्यक्तित्व है, अलग अलग व्यक्तित्व, उनके बारे में भी ज्ञान नहीं है, उनकी अलग अलग मानसिकता के बारे में भी ज्ञान नहीं है। वो सभी को एक जैसे ही उनको व्यवहार करते हैं, जबकि हर एक व्यक्ति, उनके अंदर एक कुछ अलग विशेष क्षमता हो सकती है, विशेष गुण हो सकते हैं, उसके बारे में ज्ञान नहीं।
So we unnecessarily extend the childhood of the student. He is grown up, but we are still trying to make him a child.
तो जबकि वो 12 वर्ष से ऊपर हो गया, तो मतलब वो परिपक्व हो रहे हैं, परिपक्व हो चुके हैं, और हम उनको अभी भी बच्चों जैसा व्यवहार कर रहे हैं उनके साथ।
Actually, for most children, this age is about 10. But then we are not even able to understand that he needs a different, he is growing up, and therefore he needs a different engagement. This system has not understood this simple thing.
तो 10 वर्ष की आयु के पश्चात अब उनका एक अलग, चूंकि परिपक्व हो रहे हैं, उनके अंदर एक अलग अलग प्रकार से उनको व्यवहारिक चीजों में लगाना होगा, लेकिन ये आदर्श शिक्षा प्रणाली को इसके बारे में कोई ज्ञान नहीं है।
So anyway, we will end here. This is, I will just end here by saying that the present education system is non-sequential. It does not understand a simple thing that a child, as he grows up, his mental and physical status is changing, and according to that, what you teach them and how you teach them, the pedagogy has to change. But we are not in a position to change this.
तो यहाँ पर मैं विराम दूंगा। हम लोग ये दूसरा बिंदु ये आज चर्चा की हम, किस प्रकार से आदर्श शिक्षा प्रणाली जो है उसमें क्रम स्तर से शिक्षा नहीं है, कि कैसे कैसे आयु के हिसाब से उनको कहाँ पर युक्त करना है, इस बारे में कोई ज्ञान नहीं है, और ये इसलिए ये सिस्टम का दुष्प्रभाव है, ये आदर्श शिक्षा प्रणाली का दुष्प्रभाव है।
Yeah, so it is 4 o'clock now. Should we take some questions if there are any, or some comments?
Yes.
Or should we?
किसी कोई जिज्ञासा या प्रश्न है तो हमारे पास 5 मिनट का समय है, पूछ सकते हैं। कोई प्रश्न, जिज्ञासा? Prabhu, before anybody asks any question, I'd like to really thank you, Prabhu. Personally, myself, even the word which you used to Srila Prabhupada, when he writes that the modern education system is like a slaughterhouse. But today I got the very clear the explanation that what is slaughterhouse means, Prabhu. So thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes. Then question.
Akichan Krishna Prabhu, you can unmute yourself, please, Prabhu. Rishi Kumar Prabhu, you can. Yeah, sorry.
Sorry. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Tandar Pranams. Thank you for another eye-opening class, Prabhuji. Prabhu, as you were mentioning in that sequential, it's that the modern education isn't. Also, Prabhu, I have also noticed like that's a trend now that when the children are growing up, we are handing over them our personal electronic gadgets just to keep them occupied. And so the exposure to internet has already increased at such a young age. And so there's always so much information available to them all the time, So sequential, I guess, is not there because they're always having access to some type of information even before their age or even before they reach a certain age. So how does like children who are living in the cities, because they don't have that much activity. So I think I can understand why we're giving them these gadgets to keep them preoccupied. So what can we as parents who are living in the cities engage the children in, like in that way?
Yeah, thank you, Akinchan Krishna Prabhu. Prabhu, the first thing that you have to understand that we are before this, we have to understand that there is an age of disciplining. Just like the food that you like to eat, most of us that we like to eat, is the food that we were grown up with. Certain people, some of us like to eat rice, some of us like to eat idli, dosa, or sambar. Some of us like to eat chapatis and parathas and things like that, because it is the food that our mothers grew us up with, because those are the formative years of our life. And because in those formative years of their life, if we are giving them some unrestricted systems of to engage themselves in unregulated systems, they will never learn to regulate their senses ever in their life. So therefore, this modern system and this whole education system, including the cities, which is an industrial society, meant to actually, they want you to do that. That is why they want you to keep you in the city, because they want the children also to become workers in the city, in the industrial setup. That is what they want. They want them to be consumers. They don't want them to be strong individuals who will be able to control their senses and say no. And as you know, I mean, why we have drugs as a problem? Because they do not know when to say no. So we are creating weak individuals by this whole system. And therefore, everyone has to rethink about this whole system of education. Because we are misunderstanding the whole system of education. It is not that when he becomes 20, he'll start controlling his senses. No, that system of training has to be between the age of 5 and 15 only. Okay?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat pranams, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for the insightful class. And these are wonderful realizations that you're sharing with us, and so that we also change ourselves. Prabhuji, my question is that neither did we have the alternative.
Can you speak a little louder?
system.
I can't hear you so well.
Yes, Prabhuji, I'll try to be louder.
Yeah, you better.
Prabhuji, yeah. Prabhuji, neither did we have an alternative education system, that is the traditional education system, nor did our children have the opportunity to go through that kind of an education. So a lot of damage has been done. So how do we undo the damage, number one? And point number two, what do we do to maybe start off something new, something traditional? Maybe we can't hitchhike to the stars, but how do we make a new beginning?
You see, the main reason I'm sharing this kind of these things with you because I also didn't know about it, but it took me a few years of deeply trying to understand why Srila Prabhupada called this a slaughterhouse. I'm surprised that no one has been actually talking about the slaughterhouse, and which is going on unabated everywhere around us. And therefore, the reason I'm presenting this is that people, intelligent people like yourself and others who are listening here, or who are there in this world, can take up some efforts to change this system, or to bring about a difference. How can we? Doing it alone is impossible. Ekaki amai nahi paye bolo, harinama sankirtan. And in this role, mind you, my experience was that mothers have a tremendous role to play. Noranan matulakrama, as Srila Prabhupada reminds us, that sons are molded according to their mother's psychology. Mothers, and in the Bhagavad Gita also, when the women do not know how to raise children, the whole world is going to go to hell. So I would suggest that we should try to train and see how the next generation of people understand the sequence. They're not unintelligent, they're intelligent, but we have to now treat them not as kids, but as adults. And we have to explain to them that this is what is going on, this is where it went wrong, we went wrong. And also the younger generation, whoever are going to be, are getting ready to get married or to start families and things like that, we have to take them into confidence and tell them, look, this is what is the situation. I think that the greatest role will come in the new families that are coming to play, who are coming in. They can make the difference. The young mothers, especially, my experiences is that we had in India, we had Shivaji Maharaj because it was his mother, Jijabai, who knew how to train him. And therefore we had Shivaji Maharaj. We can get hundreds and thousands of Shivaji Maharajas if we can get the mothers to be trained or understand this basic common sense educational system that the Vedic system has given us.
Yeah,
does it answer your question to agree?
Yes, it does. And I would really want to be a small little work hand. If you can, sorry.
Sorry, Mata, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Prabhuji, I would really want to be a small little work ant in this process. So kindly let me know, like if you ever start any pilot project in the field of education, kindly allow me to do some seva.
Please don't wait for me to start a pilot project. You should be the ones to start it. We'll help you.
Thank you so much. I'll try, Prabhu. I'll be in touch with you.
Please don't wait for us. The time is gone. We can't wait for someone to start.
Okay. I don't know where to begin, but yeah.
Well, you have to start by talking to people, talking what we can do, discuss, get the people together. In this age we have gone. Otherwise, every year we are losing thousands of children to the slaughterhouses.
Yeah, actually, I do have some Matajis with me who always keep telling me, Mataji, do something, we'll pitch in. But I really don't know where to begin from. Totally, I feel helpless actually.
Start with the simple thing of understanding the sequence in the children's life. Answer their questions. Do not stop them from inquiring. Stop telling them, shut up, I'm doing something important. Please take up the time to answer their questions. Do not scuttle a child's natural inquiry. We will start the education system. Tell the mothers to actually honestly answer their questions. And if they can't answer their questions, to tell them, beta, I will try to understand, I'll try to learn, and I'll tell you later on.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Yes,
thank you, Prabhu. Prabhu, one more question, Prabhu.
Yes.
Prabhu, really very inspired by these two classes, Prabhu, which we heard yesterday and today. And Prabhu, just to share with you, the few devotees from here, from Kanyadesh, where they're planning to even go and be engaged in the Varnashram project. And they have also the plan for the small Gurukula. So as you mentioned today about this sequential study structure, actually, or this kind of system. So my question is, do we have any such model available which is being practiced in India somewhere in the Gurukula, where we have this kind of, as you mentioned about after 10 or 12, they have the physical engagement, the practical engagement somewhere in the field or as per their nature, that kind of thing is going on, Prabhu?
Prabhu, to tell you frankly, Prabhu, if you read Prabhupada's books, the whole education system depends on the guru or the teacher. Yeah, someone wants it translated into Hindi.
तो प्रश्न ये था कि कैसे कोई अभी यहाँ पर अगर कोई भक्त ऐसा शुरू करना चाहते, कहीं पे जाकर सेवा करना चाहते हैं या जहाँ पर ऐसी व्यवस्था बनाना चाहते हैं, तो वहाँ पे ऐसा कोई जो क्रम से जो बताया गया ऐसा कोई अभी कहीं पर हो रहा है अगर भारतवर्ष में, तो वहां से हम सीख सकते हैं. तो प्रभु जी कह रहे हैं कि प्रभुपाद जी की पुस्तकों में पूरा इसका बहुत अच्छे से पूरे शिक्षा प्रणाली के बारे में आयोजित किया गया है, उसको वहां पर उसको विस्तार में वर्णन किया गया है.
And the education system is actually dependent on the guru.
और ये शिक्षा प्रणाली जो गुरु के ऊपर निर्भर है.
And it is the guru who decides when to start what with the child. And the first guru in the family, for a child, is his father and then his mother. They have to observe their children all the time. See, the problem today is that we want someone else to train our children. We want to give. It is Krishna's personal, system that he has made the father and the mother the guru. But they don't want to do that job. They want to somehow give a power of attorney or hand it over to someone else and stay peaceful and say that, oh, I've handed the kid to someone else. No, education starts with the father and the mother. Yes, please translate.
तो और सबसे पहले गुरु बताए गए हैं जो वो है माता पिता. माता को पता होता है कि कब किस समय क्या आवश्यकता है बच्चों की और क्या उनकी जिज्ञासा है. लेकिन हम लोग क्या करते हैं, ये जो अपनी जिम्मेदारी नहीं निभा करके हम किसी और के हाथ में जिम्मेदारी दे देते हैं बच्चों को शिक्षा देने के लिए, जबकि शास्त्रों के अनुसार पहली जिम्मेदारी माता पिता की, वही गुरु है सबसे पहले गुरु जो उनको ये शिक्षा दे सकते हैं और उनके स्वभाव के अनुसार उनको युक्त कर सकते हैं.
And we do not have to wait if there is no system. You are already gurus. Krishna has given you that. The child has implicit faith in the mother and the father. and are looking at the mother and the father for everything. For the children, their mother and their father are their heroes, their heroines. They're always looking at them. The boy he's got implicit faith in his mother. And that faith, you cannot even pay someone to get that faith. So much faith that the child has in the mother. So now we don't have to wait for some education system to come. Please, you have to take it up yourself. The responsibility is on you.
तो चूंकि बच्चों को माता पिता पर बहुत विश्वास, विशेष रूप से माता के ऊपर बहुत विश्वास होता है, इसलिए जो श्रद्धा होती है, इसलिए वो जो है उनको सिखाना चाहिए. हम किसी शिक्षा प्रणाली के बारे में कोई हमें प्रतीक्षा नहीं करनी है. हम लोग शुरुआत कर सकते हैं. तो बता रहे हैं जो माता पिता हैं उनको शुरुआत करनी है और उनको ही शिक्षा देनी है, उनको ही उनके स्वभाव को समझ करके, क्योंकि बच्चा बहुत ज्यादा विश्वास और श्रद्धा रखते हैं माता पिता के ऊपर.
And then to assist you, a teacher can be kept. Or a teacher is not the one who's actually going to train the child. It is the father and the mother who's going to train the child. The teacher only assists them.
तो ये माता और पिता ही हैं, वही उनको शिक्षा देंगे और जो शिक्षक होंगे वो खाली उनकी सहायता करेंगे, साथ में मदद करेंगे.
Because eventually, after the education, where does the child come back? He comes back to the family.
क्योंकि शिक्षा के बाद वो बच्चा वापस कहाँ पे आएंगे? वो माता पिता के पास में, परिवार के पास में ही आएंगे.
So it is the family which has to decide actually create the education system for the child. The teachers are only to help you. Please do not think that the education system is done by the teachers or institution. It is the family which has to design the education system. And every child is special. Every child is unique. And we need a unique syllabus for every child.
तो ये परिवार के सदस्य हैं, विशेष रूप से माता पिता, उनको ही इसका निर्णय लेना होगा, उनको ही व्यवस्था करनी होगी शिक्षा प्रणाली की. और ऐसा नहीं कि बाहर से जाके कहीं और शिक्षा ग्रहण करेंगे, नहीं, परिवार में ही, क्योंकि परिवार में ही वापस आना है. और हर एक बच्चे के अंदर एक कोई विशेष गुण होते हैं, सब बच्चे विशेष हैं, और इसलिए उनके जो माता पिता हैं वही उनको अच्छे से जानते हैं और उनको ही शिक्षा देनी होगी.
Okay, I hope that answers this question. Please, shortly.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. It was very, very insightful and so much enlightening, Prabhuji. It's eye-opener for most of us, actually. Most of us, especially for me and other also, Prabhuji. And definitely, Prabhu, we look forward tomorrow also. And I'm thinking, Prabhu, maybe we can have planned some other day also, as per your convenience, especially we'll invite the parents, and so that we can have this session for the parents. I'm thinking that's very useful for them also, going to be, Prabhu. So as per your convenience, we'll plan some time after this session to have this session for the parents also, Prabhu. So thank you very much, Prabhu. All together, we'll thank Prabhuji for enlightening all of us on a very, very important topic. We'll chant one time Hare Krishna Mahamantra and Vaishnava Pranam Mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Vancha kalpatarupe.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Hare Bol.
Thank you. I'd like to thank all other devotees who joined from other than Kanyadesh. I'd like to thank to them also because they inspire all of us by their association. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.